Hello, happy Friday to you all. How are you doing? Hope you've had a good week. So I just recorded my weekly podcast. It's a couple of days later than anticipated, but I got my weekly podcast in, and it was just something I was talking about, and it just sparked this idea for today's live stream message. So the podcast, it was 7 steps to turn your life around in your life or business to kind of get yourself back on track, and it prompted this kind of remembrance to share with you today is, did you forget to ask? And what I'm talking about is when you're busy with your life or your business. We're Friday right now as I'm talking, we're at the end of the week. Sometimes we are so full on with what we're juggling in life or trying to create, and if you're anything like me, you may not always feel great at delegating. So it was just a reminder really that came through of the back of my podcast. I'll share that with you later, so you can check that episode out later where I go into 7 steps. But the one thing I wanted to share with you right now is a reminder of, you get to ask for help and guidance and support. This isn't a revolutionary message, but this is a reminder message, because so many people, and if you're anything like me, we forget that it isn't all on us. So we can be moving around with our shifts and our growth and our healing and doing all the things that we're trying to do as courageous humans, and we forget that we still have to be proactive, and we are only responsible for our own energy, right? But there is a whole universe out there, and there we are a co-creation. So I never used to live like that. I used to live my life literally like everything on my shoulders. When I was a lawyer, actually, it showed up where we'd have like legal assistants and people to support us. But a lot of the times in those times, I was of the mindset that I just used to do it myself. It's quicker to do it myself. I didn't trust. I felt that if I was going to give that to anyone else, they wouldn't do it the way that I would want it to be done. I was very in that energy of control, of trying to keep my plate spinning. And if you know my story, you know that I got incredibly ill as a build-up of that. But these days, I'm happy to say I live my life differently. Now, I still need those reminders, because there's still a part of me, excuse me, that, hold on a second, my throat's gone. There's still a part of me that still feels that she has to take it on her shoulders, right? Oh, hey, Wisteria, a great reminder. Good, I'm glad you're receiving. There's still a part of me, right, that sometimes forgets, and she goes around her life and she starts to do these things, and she suddenly starts to feel overloaded. And then I kind of check myself going, am I being managing director of the universe again? I did a little message about that a couple of weeks ago somewhere. Are you being managing director of the universe, right? That we feel that it's all on us. So it's just a reminder. You already know this. Sometimes we need a reminder. Have you asked? Did you forget to ask? And you get to ask for help. You get to ask for guidance. You get to ask for support. You get to ask for synchronistic messages. You get to ask for universe, God, source, however you want to refer to it as, to take things off your plate, to do its magic, right, alongside us, alongside you. And sometimes when we don't ask, this is the vision that I get from my guides, and it's like you have a team around you, you realize, and they're just sitting around with their energy, loving on you, and they're just waiting for you to ask them. And because we have free will, our angelic divine support teams, whatever beings are in your teams, they cannot intervene, and they won't just meddle in our lives. We have, we've come down here to grow and live, but we also get to ask for support. But until we ask them, there's very little that they can do. So I'm now in the habit of asking, and it's sometimes I just, even now, I'm like, I forget. I channel, and you know that I do. I channel messages, clear messages. I'm honoured to be able to do it. I could access that anytime, and even I forget. Sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I could ask. Michael often says to me, have you asked them, HQ? I'm like, no, not yet. So I need this reminder just as much, because I'm practicing this. Hi, Darren. Yeah, I never ask, I just do. Yeah, and that's okay. There are times when you do just want to do. There are times when I just want to do, but I'm talking about if you're feeling a bit overloaded or a bit stuck or unsure, we do forget. And if you're independent and you're ambitious, often multi-passionate person with a very busy mind, as I know that all of you here are, and I know a lot of people who connect with me are, we do forget. We forget. We just keep going and keep going and keep going. And the way I kind of get a visual is like, imagine like this team of angels around you, because we all have angels, by the way. It's not a religious thing. We have angels, angelic support, and they're like sitting there looking at their nails, waiting. Is he going to ever ask? Is she ever going to finally ask us for support? And then as soon as we do, it's like, la la, they just celebrate. They just love it. They get happy. That's you too as well. Yeah, Wisteria. Yeah, I know. And it's just, we're so used to carrying it around. Yeah, and Darren, I'm way too independent. Probably a fault of mine. Yeah, and it's not a fault, it's just a habit. Like I was saying earlier in the live stream, like I couldn't even delegate anything as a lawyer. I used to do everything. And we had like legal assistants there, and sometimes reluctantly I'd say, could you please prepare this, da, 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 da. But if I could get away with it, I wouldn't even ask the assistants. So then I'd be working myself into the ground, which I did, because I just used to do it all. So I'm practicing that. But it's just a reminder, have you even asked? I like to do this when I go to bed, and I just kind of head on the pillow, and if there's something I'm mulling over and there was something I needed to problem solve and figure out, I just asked my team, and I just said, struggling with this, I need a little solution here, could you please assist? So sometimes the assistance, it's not that they're going to just give us the answer, because sometimes we've got to grow and we've got to go through certain life experiences, blah, 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 to find the answer. But sometimes they will. So it just depends. But sometimes they'll give us a little nudge or a hint, or they'll show us a little message. You know, messages can come in all different forms. You know, sometimes people, you remember from the book, yeah, I talked about it in the book, my book, Above and Beyond. I talk about my journey and how all that happened. But, you know, you can ask for help and you can get messages. You ever done something where you've just, some random songs come on and it's just triggered something in you, and it's brought you into something and you've remembered something, or you've just seen the right quote on the internet, or somebody said something in a live stream or a video, or you've read something and it's just the right thing. This is synchronistic, and it's all here to support you. So Wisteria, they keep reminding me to ask for help, but I too try to do everything myself. Yeah, I just stated that I'd like their help and support today while listening to this. I love it. Thank you for doing that. Yes, I'm so glad. So any of you watching now or on the replay, or if you're listening to this 6 months from now or 2 years from now, if you found your way to this message, ask right now. And it feels a bit weird when you're not used to asking. You might even find yourself stumbling over the words, you know. But if you're not sure, another thing, you don't even have to tell them how you want help. They know. They know what we're struggling with. They know where we're at energetically. They also know what we're able to receive and not. So you can just ask for help. So the other night I was just put head on my pillow and I just said, I just would like some guidance around this issue. I'm stuck on this. I don't quite know how to problem solve this. Just some help with that in whatever way. And the next morning, I didn't get an answer or anything. So, because sometimes I might get a dream, or I might just wake up with an idea. I didn't get any of that, but I got this, like, I just felt more resilient. I just had this kind of energy around me that I just suddenly felt like I could breathe better. I was like, I can handle this. I don't know the answer right now, but it'll come. And if I can't do it today, then I can't do it today. So I just had this kind of shift in energy. So they can help us in a lot of different ways, but we don't utilize. Yeah. Okay, so I noticed that I didn't actually ask. Wisteria is saying, I stated. Yeah, like, I need some help. Yeah, that's interesting. Probably a block I need to look at around asking for support. Asking for support is a big one when you are someone, and we often are, where people who've gone through things, or sometimes it's just we've gone through traumas and we're so used to speeding through it, coping. That was me. I know that's some of you. Sometimes we just haven't needed it. So we just haven't, when we get into a difficult time, we don't think that we can ask. And sometimes we're just people who are just so independent. We've never thought to ask. We've never ever thought to, it's just never occurred to us. So it's really an interesting one. I love that. So you're declaring it now. I'd like some help and guidance today. Yeah. Yeah, it's a hard one because I stumbled on that. I was like, how do I ask? So now I just kind of, what do I say? Sometimes I just say, oh, give me a hand, please. I'll just like wink and go, oh, some assistance, please. I'd be grateful. I'd really need some assistance with this. Thank you. Sometimes I'm like, please help. I'm struggling. Yeah. So there's different ways to ask, right? And just, if you feel a bit strange at first, you could write it down. If it feels, sometimes we're more comfortable speaking it out loud. I am now because I channel and I'm just more connected, but it might have been before, maybe in the early days. Oh, my battery's gonna go. In the early days, I would have written it down. So if you struggle, try this. You could literally write it down in whatever way, feels good. You can name them, your guides, or you can just say to my guides and just say, please, can I have help with this? Could be your emotions, could be a practical thing, could be you just need something, but just write it down and leave it out, right? Yeah, you can relate. Oh, Darren, yeah, my divorce was clean and easy, but my emotion was wrecked. Yeah, so see, you might not have needed help with the practical, right? That was dealt with externally, people involved in that. So that was easy. But the emotion stuff, maybe you never thought of asking for help. So I often ask for, I asked recently, it's like, I need more patience. Can I help me with accessing more patience, please? Help me with more courage or, just a knowing or trust or something. Like literally, I know I never charge my phone. What is wrong with me? I know I'm at 4%. I'm going to have to go in a minute anyway. I do charge it and then I use it on things. I always flip between my laptop and my phone when I'm doing online, because my whole business is online, so I'm always doing activities. So I flip and then I come on a live stream and I'm not charged fully, but that's okay. Okay, so Darren, I never asked for help and never have. How do you feel about asking for help? It's very liberating. I stopped asking for patience, Wisteria says, because it always seems to bring more trials. Now that is another thing. You're onto it, Wisteria. You're onto it, because yes, remember when you're asking for things like that. That is a good point, actually. Yeah, you will often be brought circumstances to help us tap into that, and that is actually a true thing. So you are speaking with experience. I know that you are. So you've stopped asking. Yeah. So ask for other things. Ask for help. And one of my favorite phrases is when I've done my bit on whatever it is, I just say, over to you, universe, and I just allow. And I spoke a bit about that in my podcast, so you'll see the post later tonight when I post it. But sometimes I do something. And I do like my end of stuff, say on the online business, if I share a program or share a thing, and I'm like, over to you, universe, as to, I don't know which client's going to come in. I don't know who's going to sign up to my stuff, book a session with me. I don't know. Over to you, universe, because your guide, that's not in my control. I can't control that. So you can just say that, over to you, universe, and ask, or God or source, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter. Yeah, you learned that you're patient enough. There you go. You've already learned that. So a reminder today, okay? So ask, practice, see what it brings up. It might bring some stuff up. And if it does feel awkward and difficult, just know that, just recognize that maybe there's a door you can open there to allow in support, because, just as much as you like helping and supporting others, most of us do, often we don't give the opportunity for other people to help and support us. So where are we closing the door? Could be friends, relationships, family, whatever. We often close the door and we don't let others help us, but we get great feelings out of helping others. So let people help you and support you, and ask your team or God, source, universe, your higher self, whatever you relate to and resonate with. So I really do have to go because my battery's going to go. I will promise I'll charge it properly for my next live stream. So happy Friday. Have a lovely evening, whatever you're doing. Have a great weekend, and I'll be here on the page tomorrow. Lots of love. Ask for help.